Hello, so everybody, this is Annika, and here I am again, Natalia, eager to have a chat about Unspun. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us kind of the rundown about Unspun and how you're making waves in the denim community.
Hi, thanks for having me. So my name is Annika and I'm the brand lead for Unspun. Unspun is a US-based textile innovation and denim label. We also have a studio in Hong Kong, so I'm technically or generally based in Hong Kong, but the majority of our team is based in California. So what Unspun is all about is finding on demand, like finding and developing technologies that will help the fashion industry realize on demand production and supply chains, with the main focus being on inventory. So we really want to help other brands reduce the amount of inventory, because we believe that inventory is obviously, well, unless you've been living under a rock, inventory is one of the main challenges that the fashion industry faces today. So as a company, we have actually a suite of technologies that we are working on. I'll dive into the introductory product that we have and what we are probably best known for, which is our custom fit jeans. So we make custom fit jeans from 3D body scans. How that works is basically a customer would go to our website. They can select from our catalog of different fits, fabrics, washes, thread colors, hem lengths, and waist rises, and then basically kind of specify or customize the options that they want. After they've done that, we will then request them to do a body scan. So the body scan is done via an iPhone app, where you basically download the app, you take a quick 10-second spin in front of the camera wearing yoga wear, just form-fitting clothing. Our technology will then create an avatar. That avatar will then be plugged into our system, which the avatar is obviously like your digital twin, or we like to say the digital model of yourself. And our software will then convert those measurements and match it with the options that you've customized on the jeans, and then create the pattern specially for you. Those patterns are then flattened. So basically they go from a 3D into a flattened 2D pattern, just a normal paper pattern that's then sent to our partner facilities, and then it's cut and sewn in a normal way. But obviously we're also using way more intentional, like all of the trims, the fabrics, the washes, and all of that are also less impactful, more sustainable than the general denim production. So yes, that's kind of in a nutshell.
Amazing. Yes. Wow. Custom made jeans. How exciting. And can you tell me how these custom jeans have been received, or how Unspun has been received by the consumer? And has your demand changed since you've started?
Well, yes, we're still here. So I think that's good. And the really great thing with technology is, it advances really quickly. So I've been with the company for almost 3.5 years now, and just seeing the progression in like how much better we're getting, and how much more efficient you can be with the data, and we can then use that to inform new technologies like fit recommendation systems. So yeah, I think it's been great from the technological standpoint, and we've seen a lot of D2C growth, which is obviously our jeans brand direct to consumer. But besides that, the actual, like, going back to the initial thing that I was talking about, Unspun being a company that wants to unlock on-demand production for the industry at scale. So basically we see the denim and the custom fit jeans that we're doing right now is more of a proof of concept showcase that this technology can work. But our goal is very hairy. Like, we want to influence the entire fashion inventory and kind of supply the technology that will help people unlock this on-demand nearshore production. So beyond the D2C brand growth, which has been obviously great, it's also been really interesting to see how our B2B side of the business is also gaining traction. I mean, we've already done collaborations with H&M's Weekday. We've dropped a collab with Pangaya that was in 2021. It's still available on the website. And then today we also dropped another brand collaboration, and there are many more in the pipeline. So it's really great to see how other brands and retailers are really starting to realize that obviously there's a massive issue with inventory waste, and that they are willing to test these different manufacturing solutions that could help us be more intentional in the fashion industry at large.
Yeah, so these collaborations, they are with your custom fit jean,
Yeah.
or are they with a different? Okay, okay,
So
okay.
basically we
So,
have a couple of different business models, right? So say with
mm-hmm,
Pangaya or the one that dropped today, which we'll talk about later, those are that we've basically developed either custom algorithms based on a fit determined by the brand, the partner brand, and then we develop the fit, the algorithm for
mm-hmm,
that fit, and then we produce those on demand using either their supply chain partners or our supply chain partners. It's honestly up to the collaboration. And then a different type of collaboration would be where we would license out the actual patterning part. So basically,
mm-hmm,
a brand could come to us and say, hey, we want to start offering custom made or made to order garments on our ecom, and then
mm-hmm,
our fit team would work with them on developing the patterns for that, and then basically every time an order comes through, our system would create the pattern, and then we'll just send those patterns off to them, and they deal with the rest of the like the manufacturing
mm-hmm,
and all of that. And obviously the third type of collaboration is what I guess we're going to discuss next, but
mm-hmm,
on our 3D weaving technology, which is really for us the big thing that
mm.
Unspun is working on.
Yeah. So with these collaborations, or when people make custom fit jeans, how long does it take to go from, you know, from getting the avatar scanned of your body to actually having the pair of jeans?
Okay, so yeah, that's easy. D2C. So right now we would say 4 to 5 weeks after you've
Mm-hmm.
successfully uploaded your scan. Um, yeah, but it could be as fast
Wow.
as 2 weeks.
Wow.
It's just depending because we work with different suppliers, well, partners. So
Mm-hmm.
and some of our jeans,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I guess this is a denim podcast, so people would understand. Um, you have jeans that are just like rinse washed, and then you also have jeans that are either like light wash or mid wash. Obviously, doing those light washes and the mid washes, they take a little bit longer because we're producing on demand, and obviously the quantities, we're not washing 500 pieces at the same time. So we
Mm-hmm.
actually utilize sample size machines whereby we can batch like
Mm-hmm.
10 to 20 pairs inside one cycle. And obviously then that would take a little bit longer for us to do than if we're just doing a normal rinse wash garment. So 2 to 3 weeks on the
Mm-hmm.
rinse wash, 4 to 5 weeks on the light or mid wash colors.
Well, that seems like a very reasonable amount of time to wait for a custom pair of jeans. Cool. And so tell us about some of the, I guess, challenges that you all have faced, either while you're trying to scale, or just in the adaptation or adoption process as people seek to understand this. Like, well, yeah, tell us how that's looked behind the curtain.
Yeah, of course. So obviously what we are proposing is not easy. It's not off the shelf. I think consumers these days, we're so conditioned to, you can order something on Amazon and it's going to be like click, boom, it's next day delivery, where that's literally what we are fighting against. This
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
this mentality that we as humans have, because I'm also very guilty of it. That we have of this like instant gratification, everything is available all the time. And I really think that this is the reason why we like companies can capitalize on that, because people are always kind of hungry for new products, where that's kind of what we are trying to go against. And I think that that is challenging. You just mentioned, oh, that's not too bad, like a 4 to 5 weeks lead time for waiting for my jeans. But people are like, whoa, that's crazy. It's really, why does it take so long? So we have to really break it down and explain. So I think consumer education is a challenge. And then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, this is also part of consumer education, is not only like waiting for the lead time, but the price. So I think our jeans are very
Mm-hmm.
reasonably priced for what it is, if you actually break it down. And they
Mm-hmm.
have your name inside. There's no other pair in the world that's going to be like that. They ship directly to your home. It's a unique serial code. It's a product that you collaborated with us on creating that product, because you selected, you want this fabric with this fit, etc. So I think
Mm-hmm.
the price is also always a debate, but people who get it, and people who are early adopters and sustainably minded and more conscious shoppers, they obviously get it right away. Then the last one would be the scanning. So
Mm.
scanning has been a bit of a challenge for us, just because if we are promising customers perfect fit jeans, and we're letting them scan at home using their iPhone,
Mm-hmm.
there's obviously a lot of issues that can go wrong. So it's not like the technology is great. If you are going to follow the guidelines perfectly, we're going to get you perfect fit
Mm.
jeans. But you're leaving it up to the consumers, like, maybe the lighting isn't good enough, or they're standing a bit too far from the phone. So I don't know, the cheap feed is chopped off, and the avatar, or all of these
Mm.
neatly. So with that being said, I probably shouldn't be saying this yet, but we might be working on a solution that will forego the scanning part, because we do believe that you know people are interested in getting custom fit jeans or made to order products. I think it's not only about jeans, it's about a lot of things in the fashion industry right now. And a lot of brands, as you can see, are starting to offer like different business models, or piloting like a certain part of their range that will be either custom made or made to order.
Mm-hmm.
But that body scan part, we feel is a real barrier. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we will keep the scans, but
Yeah.
also starting to explore different ways of getting people's measurements, so that we can still make this on demand for them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good to hear. And I mean, it makes sense in such an innovative company to be open to just finding the best solution, whether or not that's using what you've used so far or not. So yeah, it's good to hear that openness. Yeah, so why don't you tell us about what Unspun is working on right now? I know you mentioned before we started recording, literally something that happened today. But
Yeah,
yeah, why don't you tell us about some exciting things happening now?
cool. Okay, so I'll talk about what we have launched today a bit later, because I actually want to talk about
Okay.
a new. This isn't a new project. It's the Unspun Founding Mission project that finally this year
Mm,
is going to get some more attention, because we're ready to unveil it to the world. So it's called
great.
Vega, and it's our 3D weaving technology. So it's a little bit different from the jeans brand, which I mentioned
Mm-hmm.
earlier. That's like a D2C, um, our D2C brand, which is selling
Mm-hmm.
custom fit
Mm-hmm.
directly to consumers. This is
Mm-hmm.
really for us the technology that we are building that will realize on-demand production, near-shoring, circular production, zero waste, zero or no lower inventory, through 3D weaving. So basically, the 3D weaving is a novel technology that we have built. Obviously, people are very familiar with circular knitting machines. So, but in weaving, it hasn't been revolutionized yet. We've been weaving the same way, like warp and weft flat, for I don't know, since weaving was invented. So
Hmm.
obviously, that when you have a piece of fabric that's flat, you need to have all of the cut pieces. Even though I know manufacturers are working a lot on optimizing their markers for lower waist, but truth be told, like, where there's a seam on a garment, you need to cut up materials to make a 3D, cut a 2D piece of fabric to make a
Hmm.
3D garment that's going to fit someone's body.
Hmm.
So, of course, there's going to be cut waste. So, this basically would enable us to forego cut waste because the garment that you are creating is being woven in 3D. And
Wow.
we are also thinking about the circularity of the garment. So, basically, after they we're calling it hypercircularity because it's not even like you need to take a garment and then you need to shred the materials, and then remake it into something new. We'd actually be able to unweave the garment back into yarn form, and then use those
Wow.
yarns to make something again. And because it's 3D, the yarns are continuous. Yeah, so
Mm.
there's
Wow.
it's much faster than than 3D knitting. It's much more cost friendly because with knitting the yarns are like so, and you have to stretch them out,
Hmm.
so you have to use a lot of yarn to create something, where with weaving it's more straightforward, so you can actually make more with less input materials. Yeah, I don't know, have I
Wow.
confused
No,
you?
no, no. I'm definitely processing. I'm seeing, like you mentioned, a lot of ways that this would attack sustainability concerns. Yeah, that's so. I guess my question for you then is there, or have you all found like the end point? Like, is there an end point to, how many times you can unspin this and respin this, the
No.
material? Okay.
No, 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 definitely no. I mean, it would obviously depend on the type of material that we are, or the type of yarns that we are using,
Hmm.
whether the yarns are stronger, whether they deteriorate over time. It's also about the end use of that garment and how long someone has kept it. But these are all the future troubles for future Unspun.
Yes,
But
yes,
just
yes.
to mention that I'm not just blowing smoke and air. We
Mm-hmm,
we've
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
conducted our own internal little LCA, so by which we
mm-hmm,
check, like, for 3D weaving, we can actually cause like a 53% reduction in CO2 based on a normal
mm-hmm,
pan. But we are this year also doing an LCA that will be peer reviewed. So we'll have the
mm-hmm,
scientific data to back up our claims, because obviously we don't want to be caught greenwashing. We know we're doing the right thing, but yeah, before I make any
mm-hmm,
crazy wild statements, I'd just like to
mm-hmm.
say that we
Yeah,
are
yeah.
working on.
Yeah, and I think like this is the way often of technology. Like at first it sounds too good to be true, and um, then it's like, oh wait, but they've been working on this for years and years with this specific goal. So eventually
Mm.
we move forward. And then you said that this is being unveiled this year. What I guess what contexts are you unveiling it in? Are you going to use it in some of the stuff that you're making, or a show
Mhm.
or something?
So, without saying too much, because it's all still secret, but we have
Hmm.
collaborations, very exciting collaborations, lined up
Okay.
for this.
Okay.
So,
Fabulous.
more on that later.
Something to keep our eyes out. Yeah, something
Yeah,
to keep our
it's
eyes
very,
out for
very
then.
exciting. You're gonna love it, and it's also like it's different from the jeans that we're doing. It's like a new product, which is very exciting for us.
Yes, and Yeah, I definitely am glad that we're talking about these 3D weaving machines. And I guess the natural next question is, um, I think you said that you intended for this to become widespread, but are there currently any barriers to this? You know, say like it works, and everyone's like, oh, this is great. Like, what are some barriers to this machine being used widespread?
Of course, I guess the only way that we would be able to reach all of our goals and really drive change in the fashion industry, the Unspun, sorry, I'm jumping around, but our
Mm-hmm.
company goal is to help the fashion industry reduce global carbon footprint. Well, to reduce the global
Mm-hmm.
carbon footprint by 1%. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that 1% comes from, the assumption that 10% of global carbon footprint is from the fashion industry. So we really need to make a big impact in the fashion industry in order to reach this goal, 1% carbon reduction. So yeah, I think one limitation to us reaching our goals would be that we can't get enough people to adopt this technology, which is why we are working on these collaborations and working with brands that are forward thinking, because this isn't a solution for tomorrow, right? This is a solution for the future. So really working
Mm-hmm.
with brands who have that foresight and who are seeing that we've fashion industry, we in this entangled like spider web of problems, and materials sciences and like biomaterials and AI forecasting and all of that is only going to get us a certain amount of the way. So we need to actually look at also the way that we are producing garments, which is what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess going back to your question, the some of the limitations and restrictions would be that we that people don't adopt this fast enough. A current limitation, I think, is just the location. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we have seen more traction in Europe because of government legislations and all of these new acts on inventory management, circularity, and supply chain transparency being driven at a governmental level. But our entire team right now is based in the US, so I think it will. We're setting up our first like micro factory in California. So yeah, I guess location is a little bit of a
Okay.
limitation right now. So, kind of, how do we
Mm-hmm.
think local, act global, kind of that kind of.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then another one
Yeah.
is on the specs of the machine. Obviously, we will be building these machines and the kind of software, firmware is what we call it. So it's like the intersection between hardware and software. Will be built to spec for whichever brand, retailer, or manufacturer we actually are building them for. And
Mm-hmm.
they will also be able to cover over 99% of different body types.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm like eager to see this in action now. Wow. So is there? Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and tell us if there's anything else about Unspun or about you that we should keep an eye out for in the sustainable community?
Yeah. So exciting news. Literally, as we speak, we are launching a new product collaboration on the jeans. So back to the custom fit jeans. We have collaborated with a fashion, a brand based in New York called Colina Strada. Colina Strada is well known for inclusivity. She's always having you know, people of different ages, different shapes and sizes down the runway. Also using a lot of dead stock fabric. So we really feel like this collaboration with our brand being intentional and size free, which, we're
Mm-hmm.
making every pair on demand and custom fit to the end consumer. So obviously I'm biased, but it's the most inclusive brand way that you can produce because it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be made for you no matter your body shape or size. And Kalina kind of has the same mentality, but obviously if they don't have the software capabilities that we have. So we've kind of partnered on creating
Mm-hmm.
a very special limited edition pair of jeans that were actually shown on the runway last year at New York Fashion Week, the Spring Summer 23 show. And now
Mm.
we have launched it to the public. I'm actually wearing them if
Wow.
I can show you.
Yes. Yeah, we could. Yeah,
These
show
little
us.
butterfly tattoos everywhere. It's so
And
cute, very Y2K.
and did did she design them,
Yeah,
or how
so
did
the designer
the? Okay.
of Kalina, her name is Hillary. She designed these jeans, and then obviously we are producing them.
Amazing. Yeah, I love the detail. Wow,
Mm,
that's
it's
so
really
exciting. I'm glad we got to touch on a lot of the tech that we haven't talked so much on this podcast about. So, is there anything else that we missed that you want to shout out, or you can tell us when we can look out for exciting things coming from you all, or anything?
um, I think I've probably confused everyone enough, but hopefully later this year we're gonna have it's gonna be more public, and we'll have some beautiful assets
Mm-hmm.
and videos to support what we are saying. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I don't hope so. It's gonna happen. I'm busy working on it. Um, yeah, just keep your eye out on the press. We'll definitely have a bunch of exciting things happening over this the rest of this year, which is already almost a third of the way. A quarter is over.
I know it's officially spring, so
Yeah,
great. Thank you so much, and
cool.
we'll stop it there.